What if I told you there's a 2000-year-old mental technique that can make you intellectually untouchable? A brain hack so powerful that Roman emperors used it to outsmart entire armies, and modern neuroscience proves it literally rewires your brain for genius-level thinking? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the Stoic mental framework that transforms ordinary minds into strategic masterminds. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never think the same way again. I'm Stoic Sagacity, and if you've ever felt intellectually outmatched, if you've made emotional decisions you later regretted, or if you want to develop the kind of razor-sharp mental clarity that makes others respect your judgment, this video will change everything. The ancient mind hack that creates modern genius. What I'm about to share isn't just philosophy. It's a practical, neurological upgrade that the Stoics accidentally discovered and that cutting-edge brain science now validates. This is how you become the smartest person in any room. Your brain is under attack. Every day, you're bombarded with over 35,000 decisions, 174 newspapers worth of information, and constant emotional triggers designed to hijack your thinking. The result? Mental fog, poor decisions, and reactive behavior that makes you predictable and weak. The average person's attention span has dropped to 8 seconds, less than a goldfish. We've become intellectual slaves to our emotions, making decisions based on how we feel rather than what we know. But Marcus Aurelius, who managed an empire spanning 3 continents while fighting wars on multiple fronts, never had this problem. Neither did Seneca, who accumulated massive wealth while serving as advisor to emperors. They had a secret weapon. The Stoics discovered what neuroscientists now call cognitive reappraisal, the ability to mentally reframe any situation instantly. But they took it further. They developed what I call the Stoic Trinity, 3 interconnected mental processes that create intellectual superiority. When you master this trinity, 3 things happen. First, your emotional reactions become strategic assets instead of weaknesses. Second, your decision-making speed increases while your error rate plummets. Third, people start seeking your opinion because they recognize superior judgment when they see it. But here's what makes this truly powerful. Recent neuroimaging studies show that people who practice these techniques literally grow new neural pathways. You're not just thinking differently, you're becoming neurologically superior. The Stoic Trinity. Pillar 1, the dichotomy of control. The first pillar is the dichotomy of control, the mental laser that cuts through confusion instantly. Every situation, no matter how complex, has only 2 elements: what you can control and what you can't. While others panic about things beyond their influence, you focus 100% of your mental energy on your sphere of control. This isn't just stress management, it's intellectual efficiency. You're literally thinking with more horsepower because you're not wasting cognitive resources on the impossible. Neuroscience calls this attentional control, and it's the #1 predictor of intellectual performance. Master this, and you think faster, clearer, and with surgical precision. Example, your project gets canceled. Average person wastes energy on blame, politics, and unfairness. Stoic strategist immediately pivots to what they can control: reputation management, skill transfer, next opportunity identification. Who do you think comes out ahead? Pillar 2, negative visualization. The second pillar is negative visualization, mental time travel that makes you intellectually untouchable. The Stoics called it premeditation mailroom, imagining potential failures, setbacks, and disasters before they happen. This isn't pessimism, it's strategic preparation. While others are blindsided by problems, you've already wargamed the solutions. You become the person others turn to in crisis because you're never caught off guard. Modern military strategists call this red team analysis. Tech giants call it failure mode analysis. The Stoics just called it wisdom. When you've mentally rehearsed 10 ways something can go wrong, you develop what psychologists call cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt instantly to changing circumstances. Studies show people who practice negative visualization perform 40% better under pressure and recover from setbacks 60% faster. You're not just smarter, you're anti-fragility. Pillar 3, the view from above. The third pillar is the view from above. the perspective shift that turns you into a strategic genius. Marcus Aurelius would regularly imagine viewing his problems from space, seeing himself and his challenges as tiny specks in the vastness of time and space. This isn't about minimizing your problems. It's about maximizing your perspective. When you can zoom out mentally, you see patterns others miss, connections others overlook, and solutions others can't imagine. Jeff Bezos credits this type of thinking for Amazon's success. He calls it long-term thinking, but it's pure Stoicism. While competitors focused on quarterly results, he was playing a 20-year game. Neurologically, this wide-angle thinking activates your brain's pattern recognition systems. You start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles, solutions where others see problems. This is how you become intellectually feared, not because you're aggressive, but because you're always 3 moves ahead. Here's how to install this mental operating system starting today. Morning protocol. Before checking your phone, spend 2 minutes running through your biggest challenge using all 3 pillars. What can you control? What could go wrong? What would this look like from 10,000 feet? This primes your brain for strategic thinking all day. Decision framework. Before any important choice, pause and ask, what would Marcus Aurelius do? Not because he was perfect, but because he always filtered decisions through these 3 lenses: control, preparation, perspective. Evening analysis. Before bed, review your day. Where did you react emotionally instead of strategically? Where did you worry about uncontrollable? Where did you lose perspective? This builds your strategic intelligence, like lifting weights builds muscle. Let me tell you about David, a mid-level manager who was constantly stressed, reactive, and overlooked for promotions. Smart guy, but his thinking was chaotic and emotional. After implementing the Stoic Trinity for just 90 days, everything changed. In his next major crisis, a product launch failure that had everyone panicking, David was the only one thinking clearly. While others blamed and scrambled, he identified what they could control, prepared for secondary failures, and maintained long-term perspective. Result? He was promoted to VP within 6 months. His CEO told him, "In crisis, you think like a leader. Everyone else thinks like an employee." That's the power of Stoic strategic thinking. But here's what really changed. David stopped being reactive and became proactive. People started coming to him for advice because they recognized superior judgment. He didn't just get smarter, he became intellectually intimidating in the best possible way. Let me address the feared part of this equation. When you master Stoic thinking, you don't become feared because you're aggressive or manipulative. You become feared because you're unshakable. Others can't manipulate you emotionally because you've separated feelings from facts. They can't blindside you because you've already considered 10 ways things could go wrong. They can't overwhelm you with complexity because you see the simple patterns underneath. This creates what psychologists call earned authority. People defer to your judgment not because they have to, but because they've learned you're usually right. That's intellectual fear, the respect that comes from consistent superior thinking. Your challenge: pick one major decision you're facing right now and run it through the Stoic Trinity. What can you control? What could go wrong? What would this look like from 10,000 feet? Then tell me in the comments what insights you discovered. If this mental upgrade excited you, crush that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with other people ready to level up their thinking. Subscribe and hit the bell, because I'm releasing a whole series on Stoic mental mastery techniques. Remember, in a world of reactive thinkers, strategic minds rule. The Stoics cracked the code 2,000 years ago. Neuroscience has validated it, and now you have the blueprint. Use it wisely. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue building your mental fortress. Until then, think like a strategist, act like a Stoic.